Rising with each beat of the music is bringing. We're flames in the fire that keeps burning. We're inviting the night in. Welcome, my heart so full, I'm devoting myself to the night. There's no motive, we're just listening, we're existing. about it, ring won't tell you what I saw. When you break it off, you'll see who had it all. You had it all. You said you wanted to fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, 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 oblivion. I'm going into oblivion. Into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, 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 oblivion. I'm going in. You can't fall asleep when you're counting stars. Get it together. Your mind can't sleep when you let it serve. Now you wanna see me fall. From a quarter mile, I can see you at the call. Think about it, ring won't tell you what I saw. When you break it off, you'll see who had it all. You had it all. You said you wanted to fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, 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 oblivion. I'm going in.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the CEA. Do you like collegiate esports? You better like collegiate esports because it's CDAPS and I back yet again, the stunningly beautiful two casters here to give you some amazing gameplay. It's playdate number 2, Akron back yet again with a great roster going up against CSU Long Beach. CDAPS, tell us all about it, man.
Well, the thing is, we already talked about it last week that Akron, the perennial Titans, the team that just doesn't know how to lose a grand finals. They win CEA Open, then they win Invite, they win CR6, they win CRSL, but they pretty much have gotten the triple crown like the old Astralis CSGO roster. But going against with those odds, you have the new kids on the block in the form of California State University Long Beach, who we will be just abbreviating to Long Beach because that's a little bit easier to say. This is a team that, in a similar vein to MTU last week, they were really strong and open. They started off great. They went pretty deep in the playoffs and they won their relegation matches. This is week 2. However, on the flip side of that narrative, California State Long Beach did go ahead and get a little bit further in open playoffs last year. I believe that they were semifinalists while MTU were quarterfinalists. However, both of them haven't really had the best foot forwards going into Invite. The competition has been leveled up to a very, very high level, and they're just getting their feet under themselves. They're trying to adjust, and maybe they're going to try to bounce back and take a David and Goliath level shot onto Titans of Akron.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Akrons and Titans because the new last season of Attack on Titan was announced today. So perfect timing, Connor. I congratulate you. But it looks like we are ready to see those rosters just about now. We do have some interesting changes coming from Long Beach's side. Normally, Strikeon is not on the roster at all. He's in fact a sub for, I believe, and Kevin. The IN's very important. But let's see what he can bring to the table. Unfortunately, I haven't personally seen Strikeon play before, but whatever he can do, I'm excited to see what he can do in terms of the mesh with a team.
Yeah, so for that Long Beach roster, main people I'm looking at are Kiga and Uzi. Both of them really great players, as well as having Mistake and Anubis, who I'm just gonna say Anubis because that's not fun to say. All of them being on support and trying to keep Kiga and Uzi high on the frags could be a recipe for success, but they're gonna have to go against Akron. They've got Surma, Hennessy, IMAT, Arv, and JetCon, and we've already know IMAT can frag, and JetCon definitely threw his hat in the ring and surprised a lot of people, being the freshman coming in onto this Zips Esports Akron roster and really turning a lot of heads.
JetCon has been able to do such a phenomenal performance, especially the last time we saw Coastline. His Zofia was able to string together 2Ks, 3Ks, 4Ks like it was nothing. I did get some information just now that Strikeon, his role within the mesh of Long Beach, is actually going to be an entry roamer as well. That's going to put three different dedicated roamers to Long Beach's defense. That's what they're going to be starting off on. And I'm curious to see if such a more mobile defense will be able to help out on a defense for Coastline, which traditionally kind of is a little bit lackluster for collegiate teams. Akron has shown that they're very dominant for their attacking side, but if the defense isn't on site and they're all over the place, this could be a thorn in Akron's side. But here we go. We are starting map number one, best of two, not three. So there is possibilities of a tie, no overtime as well. And traditionally before, when we saw Akron play on Coastline, Connor, we didn't really see any crazy operator bans. It was your traditional ace, well, now traditional ace, Thatcher, Echo, and Mira. And I honestly don't see that changing here today.
Yeah, I mean, Mira, Jackal, Thatcher, super default banned on almost every single map, every single game. You're not going to see those operators very often. However, Ace, definitely a really interesting ban because of his new exclusion into the meta and the competitive scene due to his quarantine
Oh,
finally being
what do you
over.
know?
And just like that, Long Beach is going to say no, they don't want those support players having any fun, giving a hard breach operator the highest DPS gun in the game in the form of the AK-12 is just not a good idea for Long Beach to have the support players of Akron have that off.
Oh.
On the flip side, however, Cappy Tau, very, very strong with the utility, especially on Coastline, is going to be removed. That's going to make the already difficult task of getting plants down on those executes even harder. You don't have those flame arrows to burn people out of different corners, as well as those smokes to try to cover your tracks as you push into sight.
Now, last time I believe we did see Akron go and ban Thatcher. Going for the Capital pick isn't really that much of a stretch of the imagination. It's a much more aggressive operator ban, I would say, denying the smokes, denying the firebolts, all of that stuff, of course. But it's not too much different from the Thatcher as well. Capitao does have the options to go for a more supportive or aggressive role. But of course, we know the next operator ban is probably going to be Mira, unless a huge surprise comes out. But the Echo ban, you've seen it on Twitter. Not too much of a surprise, but
Oh,
oh, the Valkyrie gonna be banned as well. Not too crazy when it comes to maps like Coastline because it's a giant box. Now, throwing those black eye cameras outside or even leaving them inside, or funny enough, I think this really only applies to Coastline, throwing it on the inside courtyard on that palm tree isn't too bad of an option either. But she's not going to be here in this matchup. Instead, we have so many other camera operators, but not Valkyrie here today.
okay. I think the most interesting thing out of this is I'm gonna steal a line from one of my old casters in the form of the One
Ooh.
True Spades that the Spanish Inquisition is upon us. Jackal is set free, and so is Mira, and that tells me that potentially Long Beach has something in their back pocket with the Black Mirror wielding operator. That unlocks Penthouse as a viable site. So that could be incredibly interesting to see that off meta site that used to be the crown jewel of Coastline being so strong and so hard to attack with those mirror windows, maybe coming back into the play for the first time in forever.
Absolutely. Mira, of course, is able to be completely transformative for a lot of bomb sites, but I'm also really excited to see that Thatcher's on the table as well. Last time we did see Akron go for the Thatcher ban, and we're not seeing Akron run Thatcher right now, so either maybe there's a backup strategy for a particular site, or they just feel comfortable enough now that he's been tweaked a little bit to just leave Thatcher on the board. But let me tell you, Connor, I absolutely love Akron's operator pick. Right now we have Sailor Moon herself,
Yes.
Iana, we have Kylo Ren, we have Nomad on the board, and we have a lot of soft reach possibilities, including the Hibana, which when it comes to coastline, we seldom see.
Yeah, I think Habana on coastline, pretty much the only hard breaching you could potentially need for the primary site would be this quad wall that we see Strikeon and Mistake painstakingly reinforcing up to this point. There are no anti-breaching measures onto the side of Long Beach to this side, so that could be a free breach. Free angles open up for the attackers in a safe position on the roof with those ranged X-Kairos projectiles shot out of Arv's launcher. However, that's not even necessarily necessary, for lack of a better word. You can get away with just going the traditional route. You push Aqua, you get office control down here, you nomad it off, which I know Surma is going to be wanting to do. You can start causing a lot of damage from down below with either IMAT's explosive rounds or even JetCon's impact grenades out of her launcher, or maybe even sneaking in a free kill with a frag grenade cooked up to perfection.
Let's keep an eye on the defenders right now. We do see a lot of them holding on to the site, just kind of clinging on to it for dear life. Not a lot of craziness really coming out from the roam game that we were really expecting to see coming out from Long Beach's side. There are some off-site, like Strikeon. Others just kind of whittling themselves just barely off the site as well, like I was a mistake. So was I. But right now, it's just mostly a very, very slow game. The attackers right now, Akron, known for their huge aggressive plays, really taking their time, seeing where the best entry point is, like a surgeon with a scalpel, finding the best incision point in order to do their business. Oh, but there we go, Uzi finding that first pick with the UMP, taking down Surma right off the bat. The team captain of Akron's side already meeting their demise. That's gonna be the flank watch completely gone, and you know, if this keeps on going, the roam game now suddenly unlocks so much potential.
Yeah, that was a beautiful shot coming out of the UMP. Not the best weapon in the game, but just enough to hit the head right off of the Nomad, and making the Akron players kind of have the lingering thought in the back of their mind of, hey, we can get flanked. Somebody's going to have to throw drones. We're going to have to be a lot more cautious because Strikeon and Uzi are still off-site, waiting to get in advantageous positions down behind. Uzi has rotated back down. He seems to want more, trying to get this flank to the office. However, unfortunately for him, it is air jabbed off, and he will probably get tanked onto the ground and have that giant sound propagation go across the map, saying, here I am. However, another shot's going to come out as Uzi gets the double kill. No more IMAT, no more worries, as the first two frags go definitively in the hands of Long Beach, who are looking incredibly strong on their defense. JetCon with a refrag with the Zofia right onto the head of the castle. No more monkey plays from him, jumping out of windows, trying to be aggressive and keep this pressure going. But with only about 24 seconds left on the clock, Akron has got to get moving. There's an Aqua setup. They have utility, and they have a shield that the mistake of Wamai can just go ahead and peek out. The attempted refrag can't quite get it done. Arv taking a lot of damage. Bullets flying everywhere. Clock ticking down. Bearing 9 out. Gets the headshot onto mistakes. No more Wamai. However, there are still 3 players left, and one of them is going to be able to get the kill right onto Arv. That's Kira picking up JetCon, trying the best he can with a double kill, but time is going to strike midnight, and Long Beach takes the first round.
Not a Cinderella story coming out of round number 1. It's going to be Long Beach able to clutch out round number 1. I got to be honest with you, Connor, I wasn't really impressed with that first round from Akron. I think they took things a little too slow. They're being a little too hesitant on their executions, and there was just a lot of just futzing around in the beginning of that round without really much of an answer towards it. They did take down Uzi towards the very end of the round, and that was like pretty much their only kill. Now, of course, with Surma going down, I'm sure their plan completely fell on its side, but even then, it's Akron. You would think they would be able to kind of figure something out, but no, they never found that entryway.
Yeah, last time on Ghostline about a week ago, Akron did struggle a little bit, starting off slow, and then map 2 they completely made their own. However, against a little bit stronger of a team in the form of California State Long Beach, they might just punish the slow start of Akron a lot harder. They looked very, very strong and clean on their defenses. There was just a little bit of pressure coming in at the end with a couple impactless frags out of the hand of the M762 of JetCon Sophia. However, if you're in the side of Long Beach, You don't really care about that. You got the round win, and that's all that matters. Your roam game out of Uzi on the castle of all people was the top frag up onto that side. And now with a little bit better of a gun in the form of the T5 on the Legion, he's got a 1.5 on his gun, can take those longer range engagements towards these long and narrow corridors that we see upstairs on coastline or even down inside of the lobby area, just hucking goo mines wherever he goes, trying to give himself that little bit of extra edge in these gunfights. Could be very difficult for Akron to uproot.
Now, from last week as well, we did see Akron have some very nice attacking rounds when attacking the kitchen site. Jetcon in particular made his most spectacular and explosive plays on that Zofia pick when Kitchen was around. He was able to string together a 4K towards the very end of the round. It was the final seconds, able to get not one, not two, not three, and I believe 4 kills back to back to back, clutching out a round in a spectacular fashion and no doubt helping Akron win that set. But this time around, like you said, it's a slow start as usual, but this time ramping things up already somewhat more quickly. But no, it's going to be the opening pick coming out from the Jaeger, taking down Surma yet again. The team captain falling with the ship way too early, but the refrag does go down. Strakion does meet his end, but at what cost? And that cost again is going to be the only flank watch, or dedicated flank watch at that point. Going to be going down. Uzi does meet his end as well, figuring out now it's no longer a castle, but instead going to be the Legion, but the goo mines will not be in effect. The 4v3 already, and so far, having all those fraggers in your arsenal without really much competition is such a great way to start. Of course, the run out coming out from Kiga is not going to find any fruit to bear from, and he's going to be announced to the whole world that he's in lobby.
Yeah, lobby is going to be a very strong place for Kiga to just persist. You have access on an indirect route towards both players, but he's just going to meet his end as Jetcon is just on a heater, looking strong as ever with that Zofia gun in his hands, is going to have the confidence to continue swinging. And now in a 4v2 situation, California State Long Beach is just going to crumble a little bit. They're under pressure. They're just in sight. You've got an Alda at least. That's your one redeeming quality. But when he swings out and Jetcon punishes him, that's going to be the mistake coming out of mistake. With the diffuser going down, Anubis is trying to get it, but that SMG-11 is a little bit too squirrely. Jetcon confirms another kill for the 4K and swipes one back for Akron.
4 kills yet again on Kitchen for Jetcon. It's the same exact story we had seen only a week before. I had just told you the entire story of that Kitchen attack, and, well, we just saw a recreation of it almost verbatim. Jetcon able to string together with that Zofia just so unbelievably well, and no doubt having a 4K, and all thanks to that TSM skin that recently just released this week. Now, of course, if you want to play like Jetcon, I highly recommend getting the TSM skin. But if you want to be like Jetcon as well, you got to be just as good as him and click on those heads. We did see a lot of aggressive plays coming out from the defensive side as well. I was a mistake. It was a big example of pushing out with that Alda, trying to find the angle on the Jetcon and getting mowed down accordingly. Definitely not something you want to do on Kitchen, especially when you have the man disadvantage there. But I hope he learns his lesson because we're going to Kitchen again.
Yeah, the only thing about that round was your final two operators were your Maestro and your Smoke. And out of anybody on that lineup we saw last time, those are definitely the two you're going to pick for stopping and execute. The smoke canisters probably should have came out. There wasn't a single one thrown by the steady hands of Anubis. However, he might not have been comfortable on that roll. There's a potential in the shift up. Maybe some rolls got swapped. Maybe he's a little bit more of a fragger while he's picking up the Malusi this time around. Not comfortable enough on any of the British operators. That SMG-11 can do a lot of damage, but it's definitely not the easiest weapon to control. However, the roam for Long Beach needs to stay alive just a little bit longer to help kill more time. Strikeon got the first kill. Big pick onto Surma. No air jabs went off, and that means the entire map was your oyster for the roamers. However, they just went for the aggressive gunfights and got punished accordingly. You can't peek Jetcon when he's just holding an angle. You expose your head, he's gonna click it. That's just how the game goes up to this point.
To quote every caster ever, he don't miss. And Jetcon certainly does not miss. And one thing about Strikeon too is that, yeah, he did get that first kill, but he was refragged almost immediately. It was up to the rest of his teammates to help kind of pick up the load of him falling, even after he got that kill. but no one was there. They got picked off immediately. Already, we are seeing some aggressive plays coming out from the attackers. It's going to be IMAT, though. Usually a much better defender, but no, he gets the opening pick this time. G36, more like G36 dead. It's going to be Uzi going down yet again. Usually one of the first ones to go down the last few rounds, but he's going to go down again, as story tells. But here we are, not really having a whole lot to look at. It's the same exact situation again. Jetcon makes himself nice and cozy inside Sunrise, and this is usually where the defense starts to falter a little bit. He has such a good sightline onto Courtyard, so if anyone were to jump down from there, they're going to meet their instant doom, and it's such a huge cutoff to pretty much anywhere on that side of the map.
Yeah, the biggest thing so far is if you look in the top left of your screen, Surma hasn't died yet. He's been the first 2 picks both rounds. However, he stayed alive, and that is a very, very good omen for this University of Akron attack. He's going to be able to cut these rotations and be a lot more free in the utility dump that we see with his flashbangs, trying to help the explosive goodness come out of pretty much all the other operators. Hennessy with the frags, IMAT with any of those breaching rounds or the impacts out of Jetcon's lifeline launcher. But now there's a long angle opened up as Arv used those X-Kairos pellets to lock down the long kitchen corridor, looking all the way inside of the lobby. That cuts the map in half. It's a perfect bisect. And with another angle in, Arv takes out Anubis. There's not a whole lot that they can do. They're kind of confined in this kill box that Akron is slowly wrapping their tendrils around and setting up for their execute.
Ooh, tendrils. Speaking of tendrils, it's going to be the Iana that finds a kill, and of course the refrag comes out immediately, striking on Kiga. The last one's alive. That diffuser is going to be on the ground, guarded safely by Kiga on the blue landing stairs. But here's the thing, where are the rest of the attackers? Surma does find that diffuser after all. Kiga going to be pushing off the site, but unfortunately he's going to be pushed off into heaven. A cross-map, cross-vertical play coming out from Strikion, almost taking the head off of IMAT. Unfortunately not going to secure the kill, but it's going to allow enough time to distract the one lone defender, the lone gunman, if you will, to get that plant away from the site for the plant to go down. 40 seconds now left on the clock. Strikion kind of forced into a corner, so much so that he dies. Jetcon getting that final kill on Kitchen 2 rounds in a row, and really not much of a contest once Akron really got things going. It seemed like for a little bit, though, that Long Beach had the round in their hands. They were able to really get that diffuser down, cut off, or de-cut off the cutoffs that Jetcon and the Hibana had made, and almost retake it all. But unfortunately, it was the refrags coming out primarily from IMAT, I believe, able to really get those kills back.
I think the biggest part of that kitchen attack that Akron is employing was a drone read that they had early on in the round, or potentially even a sightline from prep phase, wherever, where they saw that the bathroom door was barricaded. That means when the roamers were playing white side over towards security office, inside a bottom courtyard or lobby, they didn't have anywhere to go. There was no way that they could just maybe sneak their way into bathroom and try to put pressure on site. They had to either break that barricade and project, hey, I'm going to shoot this open and everybody look at me, I'm inside a lobby, and then sort of maybe just clench up and sprint across with your cheeks tucked, trying not to catch a bunch of bullets from the long angle opened up from Sunrise Bar. However, the pretty much only way they could have gotten into sight was trying to make that treacherous journey all the way down that hallway. And you know you have Jetcon watching it. You've got Arv on the Hibana watching it. Everybody with those long scopes on their rifles with them just trained and fixed down that corridor is not a position that you want to be in. And now, with Akron getting 2 on the board in a row, they're starting to come to life, and that's not what you want to have happen, especially on your coastline attacks. Anything with confidence that Akron starts pulling together could possibly steamroll. They can just be like a boulder going down a mountain, picking up speed and momentum and continuing to churn out rounds.
I, for one, like my cheeks being tucked, Connor.
You know, I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that, but I love you anyways, Max.
I love you too, Connor. What else I love is that, you know, fighting... Oh my god, I get this wrong every time. Fighting evil by moonlight and winning love by daylight. Hennessy already starting things off inside of study room. Not going to find the usual defender that usually plays around in this area. It seems like the barricade might be a little glitched out. Hennessy's not able to transperse their way through. In fact, nobody is. It's a glitched out barricade, it seems. It's an invisible wall. It's like a video game where there's a clear way of getting in, but no. They said no. But there we go. They found their way into blue wall. And that might be a little bit of a hindrance, cutting off a little bit of what they can do. It's only going to waste a few seconds of time. 2 minutes now left on the clock. The defenders, of course, one hiding inside the CCTV room. Usually we have seen Strikeon hide around these parts, that little quadrant, but instead, it's gonna be I was a mistake, also finding a few bullets as well. A very small corner coming out from Jetcon, not able to secure the kill, but it's gonna scare Mistake off just a little bit more to make sure he relocates his spot.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure coming in over towards Aqua, and Uzi did just type in chat that he has that wonderful glitch where you can't switch weapons or anything, so he's gonna be stuck with a super shorty in his hands. And in the position he's in, he might get into some close range gunfights. However, Kiga's gonna be able to get the first kill onto Surma. No more Nomad, but that air jab is gonna be cutting off that flank inside of office security, so they can rest easy and sort of leave him off to the side. Never mind, he's not gonna be very much as 2 kills go out in quick succession for Iman. The double kill out of the R4C, and Jetcon throws his hat in as well, taking off the head of Strikeon. All of a sudden, it went from an advantageous position for the Long Beach defenders into a straight nightmare as the flurry of kills go onto the Akron side. All there's left is Anubis and Kiga. Never mind, Kiga is no longer for this world as Jetcon continues his pain train, picking up frags wherever he goes. Anubis, the lone survivor. 1v4 situation with the smoke. Once again, no canisters thrown out, and he's pretty far away from sight. Seems to know that there might be somebody lingering at the bottom of the pool 5 stairs, but Jetcon has made his way all the way out, and Imat's going to do the old bait and switch, pop the head right off of the smoke, and take the 3rd in a row for Akron.
A true nightmare indeed for Long Beach. Like a dark ride, we saw Akron use Nightmare and Dream Eater at the same time and just suck away the life force of Long Beach as they win the round. Sure, there were weapon glitches, but honestly, I don't really see that weapon glitch really changing the outcome of that round. We did see the castle, and I believe the Legion as well, stuffed inside that Aqua Bar area. And little do most people know that whole bar is actually completely soft, so you can shoot through it. And even then, it was just not the best position for them to be in. They got stuffed out like a turkey on Thanksgiving. That's all. Oh my God, it's 2 months away from now.
Oh
And they just
man,
yeah,
oh
it is. Oh,
gosh.
geez. Oh, man. Wow. Okay. But with all that being said, they just got put into really bad positions, and it was Akron that took full advantage of it. And not once have they changed their attacking roster. And honestly, Connor, they don't need to. There's nothing wrong with their roster. And meanwhile, there's not really much wrong with Long Beaches either, but they're just being put into really awkward positions.
Yeah, the main thing about Akron and other good teams at high levels of competitive siege is the one sort of advantage that the defenders have is they can kind of choose wherever site they want to go in. If at the beginning of the round, like, hey, let's play the tertiary, let's throw a curveball. For the attackers, they need to have a static lineup where you're ready to take any site thrown at you, and you have to have the necessary utility for pretty much every single situation. And for Akron, this roster lineup is definitely good enough. They've got nades in case they're shield. They've got 2 different pieces of projectile soft reach in the form of the Ash and Sophia, plenty of flashbangs to burn away ADS and mine magnets, as well as the infinite drones that we see coming out of the Sailor Moon, as you call her,
Yes!
Iana.
Oh, man. I love Viana so much. She's perfect in every way. Have you ever watched Sailor Moon?
I have not.
Oh, you're missing out. But anyways, you're not going to be missing out on this matchup here. Yet again, Hennessy pushing through Study. We're not seeing, I'm sorry, Office. We're not seeing anyone right off the bat. However, it seems like the defenders have learned their lesson through and through again by realizing, hey, we just don't win that position most of the time. But no, this time Uzi does reposition themselves, able to find that Sailor Moon operator once again. Going to be going down, and Surma following up next as well. Sunrise just not being a great side for the attackers right now. It's going to be Imad there for the refrag, however, and it just keeps on going. Imad to get the double kill, taking care of everyone who killed his teammates. A 3v3 right now, and still with only 2 minutes left. You would think there's only 30 or maybe even a minute left now, but no. The kills are very high octane this round. Again, that's going to put the defenders in a much slower position now. They need to make sure they can get the best positions possible for the guns this time. They're down a few people. They don't have anyone to hold their backs anymore, especially Anubis, who is vulnerable from so many different positions.
Yeah, he's trying to be the first force. He's trying to defend the Alamo in the form of Aqua Barb. It's not a great position to be in. I played that in a scrim, and not fun. You can be just absolutely decimated from every single angle and pinched like you're not wearing green on St. Patrick's Day. Really
Oof.
not fun. Sure, you have the magnet to try to soak up as much utility and time as possible, but eventually you are going to get overrun. Sort of the only thing you can hope is maybe I buy enough time for my team to just hold back on site. You got Anubis on the smoke trying to maybe kill away any default plants, which is where Akron wants to go. They want to go behind that bomb chassis inside of Billiards. And actually, they don't seem to know that Mistake is inside of Aqua. He pops up over the shield and gives a little bit of damage onto Arp, but he is walking on a landmine. The entire floor beneath him is just completely soft. He can be shot from anywhere, but it's going to be the big window putting a lot of damage on him. However, Strikeon's going to save his life, swinging in and picking up a double kill, his third for the round. All of a sudden, it goes out. The swing from Anubis with the headshot of the SMG-11 will say good night for this round. And what seemed like an unlikely and unwinnable situation for the Long Beach defender turned into gold and turned into a win.
Again, we did see a struggle towards the end of that round where Akron just could not make that final push. It was a double-edged sword for both teams, able to take down two different bodies inside that sunrise area. Sure, it was good for the defenders and also bad. They had to slow down dramatically, and it was striking at the very end of the round to make that aggressive play. But the attackers didn't have enough bodies to really hold different angles. And I believe it was Jet Khan holding that angle from the main Billiards window, looking through bar, not able to secure that final kill onto Mistake, but that's okay because they lost the round. It was not a position for them to be in, but overall, they just did not enact enough on time. They didn't pull the execute when they should have. And to be honest, with two people down that early on to the round, again, the flanker gone almost immediately, it was just not the ideal situation.
Yeah, and the non-ideal situation is going to be going to Kitchen for Long Beach because they've played it twice already and they haven't won it up to this point. JetCon's just walked through site and murdered everybody inside of it. Just at this point, he has a KD of 9-1, 9.0. Insane up to this point, and on pace for potentially 20 kills if the game does go the distance. However, Akron's going to be trying to get this 4-2 split and set themselves up perfectly to not feel as much pressure on their defensive side. However, for Long Beach, if they manage to pull this cat out of the hat, or pardon me, rabbit out of the hat, cat out of the hat is a wonderful book by Dr. Seuss. Oh my gosh, I cannot speak. But let's just scratch all of that and talk about Strikeon, who's sitting inside of office once again. Some drones are going to confirm his location, as Hennessy most likely will be the primary engagement he's seeing. Surma actually wants to swing just a little bit, and that hasn't boded well up to this point. Strikeon getting pinched from 3 different angles now. 2 on the door and 1 just watching the window in the form of IMAT. He wants this Jaeger to just move. If he moves maybe 3 inches to the right, he's going to catch a bunch of lead in the form of the R4C. H needs to fall back or have Kiga help him out because he's essentially trapped. There's nowhere to go, but he is still killing time.
You may not be able to speak today, Connor, but Strikeon is going to go for the peak. But unfortunately, he had to go eat and run away from that freak. But there we go. It's going to be 1 body down already. I'm going to meet his end, but Surma finding a kill. Finally, going to be taking down Kiga. The Malusi gone. We haven't really seen the Banshees at all in this set so far. We've seen Malusi a few times, but unfortunately, just not really much of a follow-up for any of the attackers being slowed down. The aggressive peek coming out from Surma, only going to have a shred of life left, not able to find Strikeon, and Strikeon still in the face of death, able to find 1 more before falling. It's going to be a 3v3, now 3v2, as Hennessy uses her Sailor Senshi powers to find not 1, but 2 kills in a row. A 3v2 now, Mistake and Anubis, the last one's alive. The Maestro still holding on to the site, pretty much in his lonesome. Anubis holding a little bit off the site now, a little off kilter, all things considered, inside the bathroom. He's going to go for the aggressive peek, and this might spell his doom with Jack Khan holding inside Sunrise. He's watching the wrong angle, though, or at least 50% of the wrong angle. But what's going to happen next? 53 seconds left now. Anubis and the Maestro still alive. They're able to find 1 Banshee. It's going to slow them down a little bit, but it's going to be a grenade to delayed take down that Banshee, and Mistake gets taken down, and in fact both of them get taken down. That grenade was such a good timer of death, Connor, but unfortunately they were not able to win that defense.
Yeah, I think you had a little bit of some sort of predisposition of when the Legion swung back there, he was probably gonna die. Sure, you saw about 15 seconds into the future where the positions of the swinging on bathroom was just not ideal for Anubis all the way downtown inside a lobby. That was the first domino being pushed, and that gave Akron the confidence to just sprint into sight. No banshees to slow them down, and a bunch of 3 speeds still on the board, actually a 2 speed still in the form of the Sophia. They wanted to get into the site fast, and they wanted to just kick some blank. And that's exactly what they did. They secured the 4-2 split, and they're going to be switching onto the defensive side, typically where IMAT does shine. And by picking the short Australian operator in the form of the Mozzie, we've seen him do a lot of work with that Nitro Cell, and especially with that upgraded Roni.
Yes, if you remember from last week, audience, we did see IMAC clutch out so many different rounds, and in fact, clutching out a lot of early picks as well with that pepperoni rifle. It's IMAC who managed to get pretty much in Strikeon's position on the defense of Akron, able to get those early on kills. And if you remember as well, JetCon able to string together a lot of the late game ones when IMAT sometimes eventually fell. But let's take a look at the dramatic operator difference of the attacking sides for both teams. Strikeon on the IQ, we have a Buck in play as well. Mistake on the Thatcher pick, a very dramatically different setup from the very aggressive Iana, Nomad, Zofia, Ashen, I believe. Whoever the last one was setup.
He's going for the spawn peak.
Ooh, we saw him do
Oh,
this last
come
week.
on.
Ah,
It's so
no.
close.
No, he's
Oh,
not gonna find it.
oh,
No, there's no way. He's not gonna find
oh,
it. The attacker already left.
oh.
He already left, Connor. See, look at
Uzi
that.
was just too smart. He understood that, hey, they probably watched last week's stream and we're like, I'm at Peak and Aqua window. Seems about right. Let's not challenge that. He's probably gonna tap a Nog with the Roni in his hands with that 1.5 attached to the top rails, giving him that extra range with a weapon that has no recoil. But he's still on the prowl. He's going to be the main roamer. He's going to be the one that you have to remove, or else he's going to punish you on that flanks. Unless Keegan is able to properly cut down all of those avenues of sort of aggression that IMAT's going to want to take, it's going to be a lot more difficult. And now JetCon has joined in on the fun. He's inside of Sunrise trying to watch IMAT's back in that duo roam. They're playing with that golden rule. Stay within about 5 seconds of each other to get those refrags. For the attackers, they need to understand that there are multiple people off site. That does leave a bit of a weakness in towards the bomb sites. However, the nitro cells down below could be quite worrying. You might have to clear out IMAT at least, but when you do that, you're probably going to have to take some gunfights with JetCon as well.
This is the longest we've gone so far without a single death on either side so far. We did complete the first half of the game on a split that was pretty beneficial for the attackers. On Coastline, that's really not too much of a surprise, but CSU really need to bring it back. Unfortunately, they're not going to be bringing it back right off the rip. It's going to be IMAT who finds I was a mistake in the beginning and the Thatcher's gone. It's not as bad as losing in pre-Shadow Legacy, but still losing even a body in general is still not the most ideal situation to be in. Coming down to a minute, however, it's going to be the slow acting push coming out from Uzi that's going to put Strike maybe some fear into that Wamai's heart, depending on his positioning. But there we go. It's going to be the Wamai catching him out first. Hennessy finding Uzi, and that's going to be the Buck gone as well. No more soft reaching for the attacking team. 40 seconds left, however, and now the attackers really need to speed up the tempo a little bit. It's like, oh man, what's that movie? Oh well. 30 seconds left, however, 10 seconds have already shaved on by, and yet no action from the attackers has come on out. Hiding around on balcony, it's almost as if it's the beginning of the round again. Finding one body, it's going to be JetCon going down. IMAT is still on the board, and that is a very scary proposition for anybody. But the floors are attacking from down below. It's going to be one from Hennessy, but another from below. I believe it's IMAT. Not able to find a kill, but the triple from Hennessy and our tying things all in a neat little bow. Akron able to string together the final round of the first half into the first round of the second half, making things a nice little bow of 5 rounds in Akron's favor. Very nice compared to the minuscule 2 that Long Beach have only been able to give for themselves.
You know, I think the most surprising thing about that round was the fact that you missed a movie reference. I don't think that will ever happen again. So I
I
want to
know.
write
Oh
this
man,
down into the history books and understand that I guess Keg
it's gonna
isn't
bother
an
me.
absolute gigamind on those references. Maybe you should hit up Links a little bit because he's got some saucy ones in the bag.
Oof. I see how it is. It's gonna bother me. I'm gonna remember it like at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, and then you're gonna
Whiplash!
instantly
It's
DM.
Whiplash! Whiplash. I got it. It's Whiplash. With a scene where
Name.
they're like playing on the piano, and then he like the band teacher starts throwing everything. It's Whiplash.
You
Oh
know, I
man.
can't say I've seen the movie, but I think you are just so. Carpe's talking in my ear and saying and just absolutely refuting all points that Keg is making by saying they weren't even playing a piano. So your entire
They were
Carpe
playing the
is
drums.
screaming
The
right now.
producer is
There we
correcting
go. He
me ad
fixed it. He
nauseum.
fixed it.
I am being yelled at like Carpe's my dad. Thank you, I know. Oh, but that's okay. It happens. Some of us miss our movie references. I guess I'll have to go back and watch Whiplash. Oh no, what a shame. But Whiplash indeed coming out from CSU as well. They are facing a lot of lacerations to go along with it because so far their defensive side, oh, I'm sorry, their attacking side, albeit we've only seen one round, was a little lackluster. We did see the vertical plays coming out from Akron's side, which was seldom really seen when CSU was on the defense. Of course, now the round has actually started. I'm at once again trying to go for that spawn peak, but this time they've already learned their lesson without losing any bodies. Don't go for ruins. Of course, they might have VOD reviewed ruins, but they didn't quite VOD review the main lobby. IMAT does still find one. Oh, not from the lobby, in fact, but he still finds one from ruins that was lagging a little
Oh.
behind.
Did he I think he spawned no, he ran out. That's so unfortunate for the sledge, a very crucial and integral part of this Long Beach attack as the primary way to get that top side vertical pressure. They would have wanted to escort him all the way inside of master bedroom and the VIP lounge to try to just peel back the layers of defense inside of sight that Akron would have. Most likely the Maestro of Surma and Arv on the British boy Smoke. However, they can kind of rest easy. The only way that they're going to get any of these pressures will be if one of the operators has breaching charges, which make quite a loud sound. You could potentially nitro cell or even use your echolocation abilities to try to floor bang if you're standing in the correct spot. But that's going to be a little bit easier said than done. However, IMAT currently is doing the job of the attacker with the Mozzie drone that he so graciously was given by the Long Beach attack. He's going to be able to confirm locations of these Long Beach attackers and potentially set up a dangerous flank.
Dangerous flank indeed. The flanker from CSU is still alive. The Nomad, which we normally don't really see, being alive for too long when it comes to coastline for whatever reason. Imet is setting himself up for a very dangerous game for himself. Not so much for himself, as in he's gonna die, but so much so that he will be able to possibly string together quite a few kills. He's able to set up that flank, catching out the flankers potentially, but also giving himself a lot of roam potential for the future, and also being able to find the
Oh,
wow. Okay, Jetcon. One
Jetcon.
single tap, disabling, not only disabling, breaking the back, severing all the organs inside of Anubis. The Hibana goes down without those pellets, I believe, being excreted. Very unfortunate indeed. It's like from X-Men First Class when Professor Xavier becomes Professor Xavier. But then again, another kill coming out as well. It's gonna be the counterplay from Arv, taking down yet another body. IMAT does DBNO, but not O just yet. He's gonna be revived, picked back up, leading it to a 5v2. Nay, a 4v2 instead. It's gonna be Strikeon and Kiga, the last ones alive, fighting for their lives with only 20 seconds left, trying to figure out what they can do. But the monkeys are all out of the barrels. It's going to be another one to go down. But will it be enough for the attackers to slowly whittling away the defenders? But with 10 seconds left in that diffuser, nowhere near the bomb site, even if they do approach it, that evil eye is there for the counter plant just in time. In fact, at the very end there, it's going to be a not one, but a two. Wham, bam, thank you, man. Akron stringing together yet again. Another round, being 3 in a row, bringing themselves to match point.
Yeah, they're starting off slow and then picking it up. That's the Akron way, I guess. Already pushing match point, only 8 rounds in. All they need is one more. And unless Long Beach has enough in the tank to go 4 in a row. This map is going to be dusted, and we're going to be going over to the Russian Cafe Dostoevsky a little bit sooner than we anticipated. What I've also realized is that instead of rapping allusions, we're going to guess be making a lot of references to random movies. I think
I
that's
love
what we're going to
movies.
be doing this time around.
Movies are always on my mind. Always. I can't wait to complete my degree. I just want to be done with it.
Yeah, I mean, mine is engineering, so it's a lot of numbers, and it makes my
Oh,
head fuzzy sometimes. But in Siege, I get to do simple numbers. 6 and 2. This 6 is bigger than 2, so that means Akron is doing better, right? I think that's how it works.
I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. Even 6 and 2 are hard numbers for me. That's why I'm an art student.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
But blue bar, double bar, tertiary bomb site of coastline. Unfortunately, we're not going to see the Mira play over up inside a penthouse, as Akron just feels comfortable enough in what most likely is going to be a horizontal roam and played by JetCon and IMAT, with maybe Hennessy and or Surma trying to lock down Kitchen for as long as possible, will be quite the tough nut to crack for the Long Beach side. They haven't had a lot of luck trying to challenge people such as JetCon and IMAT out of their rooted positions, and that's why Akron on their defenses have gotten the first pick both rounds and have been able to fully convert that first pick initial pressure into full round wins.
Something interesting, and correct me if I'm wrong, Connor, if we saw this last week. I don't think we've seen Imat on the Ella before. He's mostly always the Mozzie. I think he did switch off a few times last week, but not to the Ella.
I think he might have played it once. I know that is a comfort op for him because Scorpion go Burt really fast, and he also likes spawn peeking with the pistol because it has a red dot, and I guess maybe he's going for clips because he's comfortable. However, he's just going to be trying to persist as long as possible, get in as many close range gunfights as he can, where his kit will shine and he might be able to net a few frags into his back pocket.
Absolutely. It's going to be an interesting start to this round. We are seeing a bit of a slower attack. Anubis on the Lion, and we do see Kiga on the Dokkaebi as well. Some operators we don't typically see anymore for the attack on both sides, that being the Iana, slowly making her way to the meta. But the Dokkaebi, seldom really seen in the competitive echelon. Now, I'm curious to see what this Dokkaebi can do, because if they are able to kill one of the defenders right off the rip, especially very far away from everybody, just like that, they might be able to find a phone and get all those cameras. Fortunately, IMAT, though, not on the Mozzie, not able to reclaim the drones he could potentially hack, but we might be able to see a hacked camera, and I think that'd be pretty neat to see competitively. Jetcon's in an interesting position, too. He's not going to be near any hard soft breach walls, so he won't be able to get the flick onto anybody, but he is close on by. He gets the flick anyways, just on the wrong operator. Uzi goes down, and the rest of the attacking team seems to be spread out all over the place, but that's not going to stop Kiga. With that Dokkaebi DMR finding R, that's going to be one of the...
Been dropped.
Excuse me, Anger's going down, but IMAT claps on back, finding Anubis. EE1D only went down once, and I guess that's why they call it EE1D, not a 2D. Of course, with that pun, to also be very punctilious, taking down IMAT in the process, finding that Ella. With a minute left, Connor, it's not looking great for Akron right now, only being left with 2 of your dedicated roamers, and yes, you do find one, but bring it to a 2v2, the attackers are able to make a lot of ground.
Yeah, the attackers, however, are separated. Strikeon has made his way into sight, and Mistake is trying to join him inside of the blue bar, and to get that diffuser down would be crucial. And when you pick up the kill onto Hennessy, it's going to make that a lot easier. However, last person on the board, JetCon. But he's no longer for this world, as Strikeon gets a beautiful shot to go right through the temples of the Jaeger, making sure there was no clutches going on, no shenanigans, and Long Beach is going to live another round. Round 10, 6-3. This lead is starting to get chiseled away just a bit. They're going to try to just keep on pushing as long as possible, keep on churning together rounds, because if Akron could string them together, why can't they? They can do anything that they can. This is Invite League. Anybody can beat anybody at any given time, and that's what we love about Siege. All it takes is one single moment of brilliance, one flash that we've seen mainly coming out of JetCon and IMAT up to this point. However, players such as Uzi or Kiga could flip that switch at any given moment and start fragging out.
You're absolutely right. It looks like now Akron going for the safety picks once again. IMAT and Surma going for the Clash and Alibi originally, but they went for their more comfortable operators, I feel. just to close this match away. We were seeing some interesting operator
Attackers need
choices
to locate
before,
and
but it looks
defuse
like
as many
now
bombs as
they're
possible.
ready to end this up. They want to go to Cafe now, and I don't blame them. They don't want that lead chiseled away, just like you said. Already 6-3. If they lose any more, again 6-4, that could lead to a 6-5 and maybe even a tied round. But we'll never quite know if Akron can win this round, but we'll find out in a few minutes. I do like how Kiga is going for the Dokkaebi pick once again. We didn't see the phones get hacked, I don't believe, last time, but having a DMR kill always warms up my cold little heart.
Yeah, Kiga has picked up the Korean operator to help with the roam clear that Long Beach has been struggling just a little bit. It's it's a lot easier. I'm not even going to undersell it. It's so much easier to kill them with
Oh,
their...
hello.
Okay, I'm at. He can't quite get it done, but I applaud the aggression. And back to my point, it makes it a lot easier to kill a roamer if you swing him while he's tapping on his cell phone. It should be like a movie theater where the operators in Rainbow Six Siege should just turn them off and silence them for the respect of their fellow teammates. However, as soon as a Dokkaebi's in there to start the hacking process, those things buzz like bees and give off a lot of sound cues for the attackers to pinpoint your location and start their push. You don't have to drone as hard. You sort of have a little bit of a window where you know, nobody's probably going to swing. They're going to try to shut off their phone as quickly as possible so they're not just vibrating and saying, hey, shoot me, pre-fire me in this corner, just give me a free kill if you want. And that has helped out Long Beach's attack. The roam struggled just a little bit. I believe, only got one kill and had a refrag right behind. JetCon was able to exist for a little bit longer than expected over inside a kitchen, but that was because the push was over towards the office side. He had a shot in the final bit of the round, but was shut down due to the acute accuracy of Strikeon, and most likely Long Beach are going to try to do a very similar way. They've already started identifying where the roamers could potentially be. They've made their way inside of the VIP, going for their long horizontal take, trying to put pressure and cut off rotations inside of billiards, maybe to supplement a bit of an aqua pressure.
Absolutely. The play is going on right now. A much slower round than we're used to. Again, we do see the new scope coming out for the Dokkaebi. Not something we see too often because DMRs are not very played too often in competitive play anymore. But Kiga's been, making it work. And again, a slower round coming on by. Hennessey's going to be playing behind the bar once again. We've seen this work and also not work very dramatically on both sides before, and of course it's going to be IMAT very stuck in a not so great position, being forced to go for the prone, but Uzi not going to be faring too much either, already losing most of their health. But again, all the attacks seem to be kind of all over the place, it seems, each one looking to find their individual 1v1s, and no one's really been able to connect them all fully. Of course, as I say that, the luggage is going to be the first to fall. Hennessy able to string not one, but two kills put together, finding I was a mistake, in Kiga going down. And Strikeon not faring too much better either, only having a hair of health left. And while Arv does find one another, the kill feed trades back and forth between the two members. And with Uzi, the last one alive, needing to keep it all left in the game with the final 20 seconds, the diffuser seemingly nowhere to be found, closer to the site than the operator is themselves. It's going to be the smoke from Smoke, going to be finding Uzi, breathing in that gas and no longer going to have oxygen, collapsing to the floor and winning another game for Akron.
Yeah, the Ash definitely found out what was in the canister, and surprise, it wasn't very good for the health bar of the final remaining operator. Right there, Akron will take the map at a scoreline of 7-3 and are definitely going to try to carry over that confidence into our next map of Cafe. A little bit more of a structured map, sort of the flip coin dichotomy that we see with Siege, and the fact of Coastline's kind of like the Wild West. Gunfights reign supreme, but on a Cafe, you need to be structured, you need to have strats in order to be successful. But with that, we're going to take a quick about 5-minute break to make sure all of the players are completely comfortable, make sure everything is all good, I's dotted, T's crossed, ducked in a row. So make sure to stay tuned because map 2 is looming on the horizon. It's definitely gonna be a show.
From far away they came to us with knowledge. They changed our world and left us without warning. They will return the day when they are needed. Our gaze is shifted upwards to the sky. We crave for knowledge far in the unknown.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to CEA. No cameras, no nothing. We're going straight into it. Akron this time on the defense against CSU Long Beach, who almost brought it back just a little bit. They got half as many rounds as Akron clutched out at the end of Coastline. That was map number one, but here we are on a map personally I haven't seen Akron play before. With me today is the wonderful and I would normally say beautiful, but you can't see our webcams right now. Connor CDAP's awesomeness. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. That first map was in the books and definitely one for the books as Akron just started off a bit slow, as we've seen. They kind of take a little bit to feel out their opponents, and then they pounce like a lion on a gazelle. Probably I should have
Ooh,
said like
a
I think
jackal?
it's yeah, a jackal, whatever. I haven't seen the Lion King in a while. Maybe antelopes is a little bit more
I have never
apt
seen
for
The
that.
Lion
I
King.
feel I feel very ignorant, but I'm not a biologist by any means. So or a zoologist, however you want to say it. I'm an engineer and a caster, and that's a little bit above my pay grade. But what isn't above my pay grade is seeing the bans right here and right off the back, the default ban for Cafe in the form of the Thatcher. No more EMPs taken away, all of those wonderful gadgets employed by the defense, and now a very, very interesting ban coming out of Long Beach because Akron runs a Nomad every single round of every single map on their attacks. They love the security blanket of not having to worry about their flanks, and having the Nomad off the board makes you a lot more susceptible for that. And if you aren't necessarily used to playing without the Moroccan operator, can make your attacks incredibly more difficult.
We did see Long Beach run Nomad just about every round as well. I find it pretty funny because somehow, someway, the Nomad almost always found herself to be the first one to go down regardless of the team. The Wamai is going to go down next. You see Hennessy in the chat already being like, because he is a Wamai main. That's going to make areas on Cafe like Bar a lot more difficult for the defenders to hold down, especially the pixel angle. The Echo, of course, with no surprise, going to be going down next, but now you got to rely on the Jaeger and the Goyo almost exclusively for that top floor. Now, of course, that can extend further if you want to play a top-down defense for other bomb sites as well, but we will be starting on Bar again, so we'll have to save that little chat for another time as we see no Goyo so far. It's either going to be Hennessy or JetCon rocking them. The Jaeger does go down, but no, either the Malusi or I believe the Smoke will have the iron shields instead. No explosive shields, however, but the Banshee might be able to do the Wamai substitute job.
You know, I was thinking this might be a sixth pick off of Surma from the Kaid because the Kaid is very indicative of a basement hold. However, there are some very, very tricky places you can place
Oh,
those Electro Claws in order to make sure that the red wall as well as the freezer wall that most likely the Thermite of Anubis is going to try to be making a really big hole in. However, the Kaid is here to stay. One Moroccan
Defenders,
band
protect
and
your bomb.
another
Be
brought
defused
onto the
by
side
attackers.
of Akron's defense. Third floor, you already touched on it briefly in the form of Piano, is a very important room. This room that Imat and Surma are standing in, now Hennessy joins in on the fun, is the linchpin backbone of the defense employed by Akron, and the first place that California Long Beach is going to have to attack if they want to get any sort of site pressure or control on this top floor. There's going to be shields, there's going to be Jaeger ADSs, but with the inclusion of the Wamai band, it's going to be a lot easier for them to overwhelm on a utility viewpoint that player on the pixel corner, and most likely will allow them to take that site with relative ease. However, now you have Imat throwing some cams outside with extra intel. The windows are prepped. He's on his cam, he's picked out his phone, and is just waiting for the perfect moment for him to jump out, strike, and maybe pick up a first frag.
Imat is downright a player you never want to face against on the defense. Just so much nastiness going through. Looks like Imat did find one target to be the Z-Ping going down and through the barricade, not even able to land a single shot, realizing, hey, this is probably not the best idea. That operator gonna be skirting out of the way of the view of that Valkyrie. Already 30 seconds in, we do see some aggressive plays, but no, it looks like I'm not terribly sure who that is. I think it's the Capital pushing on up, but no, on the other side of the map, down below on the first floor, Uzi already finding that first pick onto Arv. I don't know why the smoke was down there, but okay, interesting. Strikeon, of course, gonna be following down next. It's gonna be Imat able to finally pounce and get that first kill off of the train area. So Choo Choo, it's gonna be Strikeon going down and already starting this round off on a 4v4, 4v3, excuse me. It's gonna be the Malusi who finds Uzi next.
Yeah, that's sort of a bad trade in the form of you lost your smoke early. Don't know what he was doing off-site. Typically, you want him alive for as long as possible, but you take two powerful fraggers off of the side of Long Beach in the form of Uzi and Strikeon. And what's even bigger is the fact that Piano has not been burned, and Uzi's
bomb has been
breaching rounds
located.
will not be able to take out the shield if it's employed onto that side. JetCon still down below inside of pillars, waiting for the drop on the new balcony. He can get a really nice angle to challenge that, as well as anybody just trying to put pressure on the bottom of red. JetCon is going to fall back and have the ability to just pop the noggin straight off of anybody unfortunate enough to round that corner, or put themselves into the vulnerable position, sort of succumbing to gravity and trying to fall onto that balcony. However, with Anubis reaching up, on the top of red that does offer another pathway into piano to put pressure in that way. However, on that flip side, there's a bunch of trades coming out as Surma's gonna be able to pick up a frag. However, Kiga on the refragged was refragged, and the man count advantage still stays firmly into the hands of the Akron Zips. More pressure coming into sight as the Thermite turns into a fragmite, goes straight on in and is able to take out Surma, evening it up at 2-2. Jetcon offsite is gonna have to fight his way up the white corridor, and he's gonna have to start getting moving quickly. Anubis wanting to tap away on the diffuser. There's only 20 seconds left in this round, but the swing out of Jetcon's gonna be able to net 2 kills, 2 beautiful headshots onto the remaining players of Long Beach, and that flank was perfectly timed, being able to get into Freezer and delivering the frosty goodness out of Jetcon's 416C Black Ice rifle will take the round back for Akron.
Beautiful work coming out from both teams, but it was Akron that came out on top despite a very awkward beginning of the round for Akron. Losing the smoke off-site by 2 entire floors, it was a huge trade back and forth between both teams, and amazingly, that final flank from Jekon able to really secure things out. You would think that with the setup they had for Bar would have been a huge hindrance on Cigar, but very rarely did we see any of those attackers ever really encroach onto that area. It was only the Capital mistake, only slightly getting into Cigar, but only then using some of the bolts, and by then the defenders were long gone. They could let them have Cigar, they don't care. There's only 2 left alive, and even then, those 2 able to wipe the floor with the rest of the attackers. Now, number 1 could go very soundly in Akron's favor. They do not want to give Long Beach any kind of leniency. Just because it's a different map doesn't mean the Octane action has slowed down.
Located a bomb.
Yeah, Akron, sure. They had our fall off really early. First pick. However, they answered back and took down Uzi and Strikeon. After that, they were just playing the numbers game. They just had to wait patiently because the time kept ticking away, and the Thermite of Anubis, and I think as well it was Mistake, were the final 2 operators alive for Long Beach. They had to get the plant down because of the passive positions of Hennessy, and that bought just enough time for Jetcon to come right up the white stairs, sneak his way into Freezer, and deliver the final blow. However, on Kitchen, this is going to be a little bit more difficult for Long Beach to break down. I don't see a sledge, I don't see a buck, so that makes going upstairs not as advantageous as you would like. And especially when IMAT is going to do the same thing once again, trying to get this free kill onto the side. Might be able to just lob a nitro if the lineup is correct, trying to see exactly where somebody is. Z pings him, knows that he's on that corner, is just waiting with his crosshair trained, his finger on the trigger, waiting to click on some pixels. Will he be able to get it? The suspense is killing me. And yes, he does, as now Mistake on the Capital will fall first. And that is a massive amount of utility on Long Beach's side that will remain dormant for this round.
Well, if you're Long Beach right now, you don't have a buck, you don't have a sledge, all you can really say is, well, shucks. That's gonna be a Mistake going down, but Jetcon follows up and goes down as well. It's gonna be the top fragger so far for Akron's side, already meeting his doom as the first one to go down. A huge roam game coming out from Akron's side yet again, but the attackers are all pretty separated as well. We're seeing them all over the place. There's not really a concise storyline as how they want to attack Kitchen. Losing the Capital, of course, not going to be a great start because you lose down on so much different utility than most of the other attackers. You still have Kiga on that Dokkaebi, a very nice safety pick, a great supporter as well, but behind that Valkyrie is going to be one of the bodies, not able to get the pre-fire. Uzi going to challenge it, but no, not going to be the best, smartest move. It's going to be Uzi barely walking away with their life, but only for so long, and where did that come from? Beautiful work coming out from, I believe, Strikeon, saving Uzi's life for a few seconds longer, not able to get the revive right away, but one gunfight leads right into another one. Uzi, still bleeding out on the floor, does get revived. The C4 attempts to go out from the Malusi, but no, that Malusi's gonna meet their end as well. Now suddenly what was looking strong for Akron goes down to a 2v4. Not the best position to be in at the moment. IMAT and Surma, last one's alive. IMAT's usually the clutch warrior, if not Jetcon, but he does find another one, helping whittle away those numbers, securing a double kill for himself, but Surma is just holding nice and tight, waiting for those final attackers to push in.
Yeah, with only 30 seconds left on the clock, Uzi does have flank potential. However, 2 nitro cells onto the side of the Akron defense does not bode well for the remaining members of Long Beach. Sermo falls down over. IMAT's gonna pick up a triple. Never mind, make that a quad! As there's only 15 seconds left, and the Ash is on about 1 bullet of HP. Throws the nitro cell to get any sort of presence. He knows that the Malusi gadget's gonna be buzzing. That Banshee, as soon as the radius is done, is gonna tell him to grab the ace. As the nitro cell, perfectly timed phone call away, will pick up another kill, and the heroics of IMAT directly translating into another round for Akron in their soaring high.
Again, what seemed to be a really bad round for Akron, they just turned it around right at the perfect time. It doesn't matter which operator it is. It could be JetCon with a late game flank. It could be IMAT with a holy moly, an ace coming out from him. Fantastic work. They're all really competent defenders, but that's not to discount what we see on Long Beach either. They are a little bit of a mess, all things considered, at the beginning of each round. Those early picks not helping, of course, but even then, it seemed like there's not really much of a concise way of how they want to attack on Cafe. Maybe they did review a little bit of Akron before going into this game on Coastline, but I don't believe we've seen Akron go for Cafe just yet. And if they did VOD review, and that's the reason why they won all the rounds they did, so far they're playing off not really much intelligence other than the raw game sense, and
Attackers need to
they're
locate
struggling,
and defuse
Connor.
as many bombs as they can.
Yeah. Now you're on Reading Room, which is pretty much the quote-unquote weakest site on Cafe. However, it's a very similar vein to the 3rd floor, which was once sort of the primary bomb site and is the primary bomb site for Akron. The way that the sites stack up is they are directly below the bomb sites that you would see on the traditional 3rd floor bar hold. For that to occur, the pressure upstairs that Anubis on the sledge is going to have to employ is going to be uprooting the sort of quote-unquote roamers. They're more so like soft anchors, because for Akron, they're going to defend pretty much the same way that they would defend on the 3rd floor. And worst case scenario, they fall off and give that control away to the Long Beach attackers. But surprise, surprise, that isn't sight. They can still fall back. They can still have the necessary time and wait for the drop to come out over towards Pillar, or the long trek down the white staircase to attempt to go on into sight. And when you're playing a numbers game like Siege, where time is sort of the predominant factor of what's ruins good and sort of bad attacks, that's that separating distinction, pardon me, not distinguish, the distinction between a good and a great team. Time is just always of the essence, and strategies that such as Akron is employing up to this side is definitely designed to kill time.
Designed to kill time indeed, and Malusi was born to do so. Not sure what those Banshees are immediately, but I'm sure they're placed in very fun spots for the attackers to take care of. We do see one Banshee. It's going to be in between Cigar and the new hallway. Just a little bit. Banshee number 2 going to be on B site in case that's where the attackers want to go. Uzi is going to be right below where it does come in through, and Banshee number 3 going to be right below that skylight. Obviously, again, it's going to be a very fun time for any attacker that does come in close to those. It's going to be a very fun time for IMAT especially, maybe able to secure yet another ace in a row.
Yeah, you know, if he gets back-to-back aces, I'm dropping a tier 3 sub on that IMAT so I can spam that IMAT proud in chat, because it's just so incredibly unlikely. But you know, with a player of his caliber, anything can happen. However, he's gonna already lose about 50% of his HP on his endeavors inside a piano. I believe it was the Ash of Uzi delivering quite a bit of damage, packing quite a bit of punch with the R4C, just proning inside of the radius of one of those Malusi Banshees. I combined that to Belushi. However, IMAT does answer back and is able to take out Anubis. Once again, finding the pick onto the sledge early, as we saw him do on Cafe so many times, is absolutely massive. Now in JetCon's crosshair, Kiga does just sort of fall and appear. He does escape with his life for just the time being, but JetCon definitely smells the blood in the water. He's gonna be on the prowl like a shark on Shark Week.
Ooh, Shark Week. But also like a Belushi as well, there is no Blues Brothers this time for anyone on either side. It's going to be an absolute mess on the cams, it seems, between all of the players. Already JetCon going to fall, but another one falls as well. Anubis did meet their end much earlier as well. The time is ticking down to 20 seconds, and seemingly the attackers again struggling a little bit, able to
15
find their
seconds
stride a
left.
little bit more. Kiga getting that double kill, and
Drop the bomb.
3v3 goes to a 3v2 to a 3v1. Imat again there for the clutch. Can he find that final one? And yes, he does. 4 in a row again. That's going to be 9 kills before his last death, or after his last death. That's going to be Imat with an ace, following up with another 4K. Oh my god. I don't think I've ever seen such a string of kills before. Imat
Yeah.
proud indeed.
You know, I'm really glad he actually, I wish he had heard me because I know he would have found a way to get that one extra kill and earn him a tier 3 sub. But, it's just it's out of my hands, but still in control, as the great man Dr. Disrespect once said. However, 9 kills in 2 rounds is no easy feat. I'm sure we definitely need to look at his Moss files because he is on a heater. We said on that on round 2. However, round 3, he poured gasoline on himself to keep the fire burning at 10,000 degrees, just absolutely incinerating every bit of attacking presence that the California State Long Beach players were trying to push in. It was the Malusi show. It was him just running around like a chicken with his head cut off if that chicken had an
Protect your
IQ of
bombs from being defused
500.
by attackers.
Call him Chris Evans because he's the human torch this game. He is just able to go everywhere. 10 and 1. That might be one of the biggest kill spreads we have ever seen on CEA.
Yeah, it definitely does rival. There's a little bit of a hero going around on the GGG roster in Open where somebody dropped back-to-back 20 bombs. I think his scoreline was 40-6 over a 14-0. So that was insane. However, Imat's doing this in Invite. Homie is built different and is definitely showing off and saying a little bit to JetCon, I'm giving you a bit of the spotlight, but sometimes I need to shine.
Absolutely, JetCon shines so much on Coastline, but it's Imat's turn this time. We've seen Imat perform fabulously last week on Coastline. He performed alright last map, but this is something different. This is similar to what JetCon did last week, and now it's being traded off. The energy, the ethereal essence of whatever they're both eating, able to go and transmute from one to another. It's beautiful, really, and they're able to do it so well. But here's the real question. Is Imat gonna do it again?
If he does, then I don't even know what to say. That, I guess Cafe's just his map, or maybe the food in the Akron sort of dining hall is just so incredibly amazing and is fueling his fragging performance in a way that not even Rogue Energy could keep up with. But if you need some Rogue Energy, go ahead and use code CEA, as Imat is just fragging out once again. He answers the call to action and gets a beautiful headshot onto Uzi, winning the opening engagement once again.
It is just non-stop with this guy. Beautiful work, and yeah, he did lose a bunch of health. No doc in play, so he can't heal up anymore, but losing down on Uzi right away is not an easy feat, and it's also not a great for Long Beach again. So far, they haven't been able to win a single round, but they also did struggle quite a bit on their attack on Coastline as well. Right away, also on Skylight, it's going to be the Bucks struggling to find those opening picks as well, peeking around to see if he can get those quick kills. No, in fact, the return fire is going to tag his shoulders a little bit as the damage goes on. The C4 goes down, not able to find anything either, and the attackers, rightly so, are going to play this a lot more slowly, and I think we know what the main objective is. Find Imat and take him down. That's all they need to do to win this round, essentially, is find Imat and eliminate him as soon as humanly possible. Call this mission impossible because so far Imat has been able to Houdini his way out of just about all situations and figure out what to do.
Yeah, he's just sort of been bobbing and weaving dodgeball style, just taking every engagement and dodging some bullets like Neo, because I'm going to continue this movie reference. I want our numbers to go way up with that. There, Surma is going to be able to get a beautiful kill with the TCSG right under the noggin of the hard breach wielding Cappy Tower. There's just a flurry of kills going bound. Strikeon also bites the dust. JetCon dies in the crossfire as well. It's up to Imat, Arv, and Surma to hold back the pressure that Anubis is going in. Arv is able to swing out and take down Kiga. However, Now that's just Anubis. Imat also lost his life, wasn't very much HP on his side, and the TCSG is going to make sure that the thermite of Anubis also matches his number, avenging his fallen teammate. And Akron, 4 in a row, looking so strong on Cafe, already securing the preferred round split, and still have 2 more rounds to grow their lead.
I mean, so far for Long Beach, this is just not the team we saw last map. They're struggling so much, and now I'm not much of an analyst, but there's not really much to say in terms of them performing terribly. I mean, they're not performing bad at all. They're just not able to really get themselves onto the site. They're not able to find those opening picks, and they're not able to win those gunfights. 11-2 is a pretty good evident marker that they're not able to win those gunfights. Mistake the Capital 0-4 right now. They're just not able to find their positioning. It's like being on one of those log rides, right? Where you're like balancing yourself on a log and below is the water. They just cannot find their footing properly to make their way across.
Yeah, it's just such a difficult thing to break down the Akron defense, who are insanely comfortable on Cafe and are definitely showing it up to this point. The 4 rounds, only one of them has been close. Every single other round has just sort of been definitively in Akron's side. However, the flip side, the positive is that the closest that Long Beach has been to winning a round was on Kitchen. It took an IMAT ace to shut it down. A 1v3, I believe, situation where he just popped off with the MPX after he got back into sight, was able to hold off the Alamo Stewie style and just make sure that Akron is going to keep on putting rounds onto their side of the scoreboard, as opposed to Long Beach finally taking a step inside the door and getting a round on their side. However, it's going to be up to the anchors on the Akron team to sort of step up just a little bit. They sort of got ran over last time around inside of Kitchen, and it is incredibly difficult to hold down this site if Long Beach is able to get inside of Bakery and just sort of flood into the site at a moment's notice. This time I'm on a cam, does get it spotted out, so that means probably shouldn't run out. However, he does want the aggression. He wants the Long Beach players to fear him. That's going to be his greatest weapon to employ, is just the straight up fear factor that him being alive on the board is going to cause the attackers.
So far, we have seen that same exact Valkyrie cam, the black guy going on the same exact angle every single round rent-free. You would think after maybe 2 or 3 rounds that it would go noticed at some point and take it down, but no. Not 1, not 2, but 4 rounds going down. I'm already getting his first kill, gonna be finding not 1, but 2. Beautiful work coming down on the white stairs. That's gonna be the Uzi, the Ash, and the Zofia going down immediately. 2 of your soft breachers already dead. You saw the skeleton keyman alive, but he gets C4'd in return for the only kill being taken down on the Akron. It's not a good look already. The Capital not suffering. I'm suffering way too many damages. The feet sniffer himself, the Jackal, able to stay alive a little bit longer to at least find out the location approximately of Arv. But even then, is that going to be enough to take down the 3v2? Now, normally you could say this is a relatively even matchup, but with it being Kitchen and with that diffuser being long gone away from just about anybody on Long Beach's team, it's going to be the Capital and his possible dying efforts to get that box.
Yeah, they need to get the diffuser, and they need to fight through IMAT, who's going to be trying to protect it. However, Mistake's going to be able to down IMAT, take down Goliath, as he's going to be able to pick up his second kill of the round and make that his second kill of the game, looking up for him up to this point. However, he hasn't quite confirmed his kill, but they have even the man count essentially, unless there's some saving private IMAT level heroics, and yes, there is, as I... Actually, what happened there? I don't know how he got... Oh, Surma got him through the drone hole with the TCSG. Wonderful plays. However, now Strikeon has to swing in and get aggressive. Doesn't have the diffuser, doesn't have much time, and he doesn't have much life left in the tank on the health pool, as the swing from Arv will make sure that IMAT does not suffer that black mark on his death receipt. He will stay alive, just crawling around, holding F to make the bleedings go slower, being able to survive, thrive, and get a 5-0 lead.
If I've learned anything from Twitter this season, it's swing or be swung, and being swung is exactly what's happening to Long Beach right now, they're just not able to find their break no matter what. It just happens every single round. All the smart plays, the drone hold TCSG, like you mentioned, like we saw, it is just a massacre. I was a mistake now resorting to the Blackbeard pick. I mean, when you're you're 0 and 5, there's not really much else you can do. And we do see the Nook pick coming out as well from Kiga. And again, you have to resort to the off kilter mods. You have to go away from the orthodox to possibly win or at least get a single round off of Akron, or you're going to be the next Tempo Storm against TSM.
Yeah, the
Attackers need to
worst thing
locate and
about
defuse
it
bombs.
is that Reading Room was the most definitive defense for Akron up to this point. Long Beach struggled. They sort of got into cocktail with about 20 seconds left on the clock, and you need to be getting that cocktail pressure at about a minute and 30. That's a big disparity between the timing that you want and the timing that you had, and that's going to be quite the daunting task ahead of him to rectify that mistakes and try to get a different outcome. They need to push IMAT out of piano. They need to start putting in pressure early. Maybe that's why mistake is on the Blackbeard. Probably gonna go on those eastern windows, trying to get cocktail pressure the good old-fashioned way with a face shield and a MK17 CQB. I believe that's the rifle for the Blackbeard. You know, sometimes I'm smart, sometimes I'm dumb, but at least I know Blackbeard weapon.
Well, you're the science student, I'm the art student, so it makes sense. You're the brains, I guess, the casting brawn. But we are starting off potentially one of two rounds left in this set. Again, there's no overtimes, and the Nook already going solid Snake style. This is Snake. I'm approaching red stairs, looking around to see if I can find an enemy. Unfortunately, the Nook not able to find one off the rip. There is going to be one, I'm not entirely sure who that's going to be resting upon inside trains, but it's a bit of a stalemate between the two. Uzi and Hennessy going toe-to-toe with each other, whether they realize it or not. They have to realize from the footsteps at least that there's an attacker nearby. Hennessy is no dummy, and they're looking around. The Nook, of course, kind of stalling themselves out at the top of the cigar stairs. The Z-ping goes down, but in the wrong direction. One could push. There is a 2v1 situation. If the pulse rotates, it's going to be game over for Hennessy's life. It's a stalemate between the two. The drone's going to go down, kind of catch out that pulse, and suddenly things are going to ramp up to 11. Not able to find any shots through the soft wall. It's going to be both teams, both members, looking to see who's going to get that first kill. But no, the stalemate continues, and Uzi, as he looks away, the shots are colliding into his body. It's going to be the pulse able to find some of the shots, but not able to secure a kill immediately. Suddenly, the battle being upstairs is the battle was upstairs, but now rotating back down to its native floor. The pulse looking through the walls again, able to find one, barely through two soft walls. Uzi falling, and it's going to be two others falling as well in unison. I believe that's at the very least a double kill coming out from our boy Hennessy, the preferred alcoholic drink, it seems, of Akron's side. But you know what? That going forwards, White Stairs is not having a good time. The Blackbeard, despite all the shields, still not able to contest thoroughly against whoever's at the top. You have the high ground, Anakin, and mistakes will become the new Vader. Striking on finding IMAT, however, but will it be enough to take down one when you still have double the amount of people, a 2-1 ratio?
Yeah, they can set up their trays and just play passive, especially since there's no pressure even remotely close towards the bomb site. And once again, time has been the killing factor for Long Beach's reading attack. There's a Blackbeard trying to join the fight over towards striking out, but they don't have the diffuser. It is gone inside of train, and that has become a death box. Never mind, Long Beach has picked it up, but it's gonna get dropped right back down as Hennessy picks up the triple kill. It's all up to the lone Blackbeard of mistakes, trying to make the correct decision, but it won't be done as Hennessy gets another kill, the 4K on the pulse. Looking like Canadian, because even though the Blackbeard had a face shield, he's gonna pop his nog and secure the flawless half. 6-0 for University of Akron.
Definitely not the position you want to be in if you're Long Beach right now. You know what they say about California girls, they're unforgettable, but so far I think this is a game that California Long Beach wants to forget. Going 0-6 in not so much their favor. It's gonna be Long Beach needing to really figure out what they can do on a defense, it was the stronger side for them on Coastline, and they better bet all their marbles in the basket that it can be their best side yet again because they have not been able to string together a single attacking round on Cafe. True, it is more of an attacker defense, a defensive sided map, but when you have to bring out the Warden on your first round, things are a little bleak.
You know, I've met some people that just when they go onto the Warden, they're a completely
Defenders, protect your
different
bombs
beast.
from being
One of
defused
them
by
being my
attackers.
teammate in the form of Taco. If you give him the MPX on Valkyrie, he can't do a thing. Give him the MPX on Warden, he at least gets 3 kills, and we just don't understand the phenomenon. Maybe it's the suit, maybe it's the confidence you get because of look good, feel good, play good. You never know, as he's also quite stylish in the way he runs, gun straight up in the air, making sure that it's not pointed at any of his teammates. Safety first.
Safety first indeed, and he has his safety goggles on, so in case there's any spikes
10
or,
seconds remaining.
I don't know, whatever dangers you find, but you need a safety goggle,
5
Orton's
seconds
there to
go.
protect himself. Now, of course, the Nomad was banned, and we do see Surma, the dedicated flanker of their team, but also the team captain, rocking out the Gridlock. Now, Gridlock, of course, isn't really used as often. She's a little bit more picked on Cafe because of red stairs and the white stairs for the spikes, but usually you see Nomad for the air jabs in most other cases. But Nomad's banned, so you're forced to go for the Gridlock, and it may not be an ideal situation seeing how things unfold.
Yeah, for the side of Akron, they're going to do a traditional top-down roam clear. And when you have players such as Uzi and a couple of others playing on the second floor, it's going to be bearing fruit as IMAT does spot out the location of the Vigil using the hologram operator here. Surma is able to pick up the first kill onto Strikey on taking out the Jaeger from that long angle, that little triangle of doom looking all the way down to the bottom of Harry Potter, getting a free kill and looking quite good on the Akron attack. They want this 7-0. They want the confidence that it brings. They want to fully demoralize the Long Beach now defenders and get this game over with as quickly as possible. And that would also send a message throughout the league. Don't take Akron to Cafe, because this was Long Beach's map choice, and they're just looking so good. This is their second home. They know this map like the back of their hand, and their roam clear has been pretty efficient up to this point. They've netted 1 free kill, and they've already gotten pressure down onto the first floor with only about half of the round gone up to this point.
Despite what we see, the placements of Akron's side, we see the roamers, specifically Uzi, who should be roaming their way around the map relatively rent-free when it comes to Cafe, being relegated to a small, little, almost insignificant corner of the map normally. But Uzi, not in the preferred position, still looking around where that Iana could be, but guess what? Iana used her sailor powers to move her way across the map, it seems, distracting initially Uzi, but they know exactly where he is. Any second now, it's going to be the Iana pushing on from a different angle, but now, thanks to that grenade, he is aware. Of course, one after another, the Akron folk do fall. It's going to be Arv and JetCon going down first. But with IMAT still alive and Hennessy still alive at that, you have a lot to worry about. Uzi does end up falling, and Strikeon at one point or another fell as well. Going down to sub 40 seconds, you need to win this round if you're Long Beach, if you want to stay in the game, but this is potentially for all the marbles in the basket, and the basket seems to be spilling everywhere as IMAT finds another kill onto that Warden, but a back and forth yet again. IMAT finds the double kill, and can he end it all with an ace, a 4K, and a triple possibly at the very end? Only one left in the way to keep him away from that possible triple. It's going to be, I was a mistake, and a mistake indeed it seems. He's able to find one, but is he able to find another? He is! A double kill coming out from our boy Mistake, not able to find the free fire through the wall. The timer goes down, and against all odds seemingly in the world, against seemingly the impossible, you would think that they clutched out the win after all, but no! Long Beach able to win a single round against Akron in map number 2.
And let's hope this is the first of many, because this matchup has been relatively close up to this point. The scoreline doesn't necessarily reflect it, but a lot of the rounds have gone down to just clutch players stepping up when they need to, as well as that was the same story on Coastline. So the score may seem incredibly lopsided, but that is no dagger down to Long Beach, who have been playing quite well up to this point. However, when you have a player such as IMAT dropping 16, it's hard to keep up with the pace that he's setting. He's just roaming around. He's going to be running in wherever he so desires with a very powerful weapon and a whole lot of confidence pushing him forward. Now, we're going to see JetCon on the Zofia, Arv on the Ace, Hennessy, IMAT, and Surma on the IQ, Yana, and Gridlock, respectively. Another static lineup coming out of the University of Akron attackers as they're going to attempt to go instead of all the way down to the first floor, they're going to only have to get control up on the third floor. Here, you alluded to it earlier in the beginning that Goyo is sort of almost necessary to hold down Piano with a Wamai band, and that's exactly what Long Beach is going to be employing over towards that, I believe, southwestern room. The clean feed's a little bit pixely, so I can't see. Yes, it is. I know my cardinal directions, and I promise I passed like third grade whenever you learn it, or whenever you learn it in Boy Scouts, like the
Sixth
two
grade.
meetings I went to. Yeah, I don't really know, but it's gonna be a very, very piano-centric hold. Lots of Goyo shields, lots of regular shields, ADSs, Maestro cams, opening ups on the wall. Kiga placing those banshees all over the place so they can get the wub wubs, those wonderful sound cues of vibration that lets the player over in Pixel know that, hey, somebody's about to swing me. You can go on it with confidence, but not as much confidence as we see from Uzi up to this point, playing all the way downstairs in Bakery, wanting to run out on any of the unsuspecting attackers, repelling, trying to get into the roof, maybe trying to open up the hatches, as that's exactly what Surma's going to do with that super shorty in his back pocket.
We're gonna want to keep a careful eye on the Goyo this round, because Goyo we haven't seen too often at the very least, and he's typically normally seen inside of Pixel. But this is the first time we're seeing him, that Uzi, the confidence oozing from his player, his person, for avatar he's emasculating right now. It's gonna be Uzi trying to go up red stairs, not able to find much success, but this tiny dancer holding down Piano as much as he can. He's gonna need to go for an explosive Rocket Man approach if he wants to find that opening frag. But no, the C4 goes down, not able to find any sort of explosion. He's gonna have to play the Crocodile Rock somewhere else by evading that Piano. Of course, though, playing that very aggressive position, he's gonna have to watch out, so much so that he dies without even giving a fuss. Unfortunately, that is going to be the end right there, like a candle in the wind. 4v3 already right there. It's going to be the gridlock going down, but the spikes have already been used. Uzi does go down as well, and it's down to the rest of the defenders who weren't traveling the map as much to hold down those angles for possibly the remainder of this set.
Yeah, with only the Jaeger, the Maestro, and the Malusi on the board, the Maestro is going to take a lot of damage at the hand of JetCon swinging with the confidence that the rest of his team is definitely exuding. With a minute left on the clock, they have a lot of time, they have a lot of control, and can really stop the drone and get all the necessary information that they need to make this execute as deadly as it possibly can. Arv on the Ace does breach a pathway into Freezer, but they're going to opt to just go inside of the long bar. Giga is swinging to try to use those holes to his advantage. However, bullets go both ways. It's a mirror window, essentially, of death, and lots of bullets firing and coming back both ways. 30 seconds left on the clock, and there hasn't been any kills. Never mind, Keegan's gonna make me eat my words. Tosses a nitro cell to try to get the second, but can't quite get it done. Arm swinging in, sees the player inside of Freezer. Free Fires can't quite get it done as Keegan's just swinging, but he's overwhelmed at the hands of JetCon, picking up his second kill of the round. A 3v2 as the long reload out of Mistake will go in, and he'll get fried for his endeavors as Hennessy picks up his second, making sure that his team's gonna stay in it. It is JetCon to deliver the final blow as Akron makes sure that they take this game, take this round, take this set at a score of 2-0 at the hands of a Cafe 7-1 victory.
At the very end of the round, when you have to rely on your one and only sub player, it's definitely not the look that you want to have for Long Beach, but unfortunately, you have to say goodbye to the Yellow Brick Road, you have to say goodbye to Piano, you have to say goodbye to Cafe, because Akron win 2-0 and 7-1 is a very unfamiliar scoreline, hopefully, for Long Beach, but it's one they're going to have to deal with in CEA going forward this season. Definitely not the position they want to be in going forwards, but hopefully they learn from their mistakes. And overall, there was nothing really wrong with their attack or even their defense. It was mostly just losing just about every single gunfight that they were approached with.
Yeah, when Imat's just feeling good, he's gonna try to win as many gunfights as possible. But with that, the man of the hour being Imat, we're gonna be getting in for an interview. So if that interests you, even in the slightest, being able to pick his brain and see what was going on behind the scenes, make sure to stay tuned while we get a quick short break to make sure that that goes smoothly.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have Imat here. We got to do a little hand thing I was told by production every time we mentioned your name. I've been doing it all cast, even if they can't see me. But we have you here again for the interview, and I just want to say that we called it that we would be interviewing you again very soon. And here you are again. What a surprise. So, Cafe was a miraculous map, but let's start off on Coastline first. It was a bit more of a struggle. By that, I mean you won 7-3. And so I'm just curious, do you think that for Long Beach that it's just a stronger map for them? Or do you just think they've auto reviewed you guys? That's my big question.
I just think that map's hard to win. I mean, we lost mainly attacks on that map. We lost one or two attacks and one defense. I just think it's we messed up a little bit in the beginning. It's just a little slow start.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, when it comes to Coastline, we have seen you guys go for that slower start in the beginning, but again, it ramps up. It's like a Reggie Gigas. You have slow start, and then once you're online, you are just phenomenal. But let's focus on Cafe now. That's the burning map that we just saw. You went from an ace immediately into another 4K spree, and then almost another three after that, but not quite. What was going through your mind for the majority of that map?
I wasn't even. I don't really look at my score or see who's doing what. I just I did. I know I did good the round. That's all I really knew. I just was keeping my head the same. Just keep playing. I honestly didn't even realize how many kills I had till the end.
I think an interesting perspective to see from a player, especially someone from Akron in this map, is that what do you think the major flaw was for Long Beach? Because from our perspective, sure, their attacks were a little odd in the beginning, but it was mostly you guys winning the gunfights. Being in the game, being immersed in that atmosphere, was there something else you felt that was off about their team?
Oh, I just think our momentum was crazy. We had their drones. They were droning pretty poorly. They were droning like they were double or triple droning the same thing. So it was like we got a lot of drones for free, and we were just playing super aggressive off the fact that we knew that they don't really have good intel. And like I said, the momentum because we were just winning was crazy.
Well, I mean, that's fantastic. Honestly, I don't have a whole lot of questions for you this time, Matt. I think your wins were completely clean and just right there in front of us. Not really much to dissect. Connor, if you have any questions.
The only one I've got is how does it feel to start off 2-0?
It feels great. I love my new teammates. I just want to give a shout out to my boy Casey.
Yeah, any
Another
other shout outs you want to give out while we're going ahead and doing that?
but just my teammates: Casey, Arv, Serma, Jet, everybody. I love them all.
Yeah, you guys definitely are starting to really merge together as a roster and look insanely strong. But with that, we're going to go ahead and close out this interview and probably close out this stream, but not before thanking our wonderful sponsors that allow us to operate and put on a great of a show as we can. First off, oldest ones in the book, that's Rogue Energy. Been here with us since day one. So if you need any energy supplements, their wonderful energy powder will make definitely put a pep in your step and kick you into overdrive. Make sure to use code CEA at checkout, and that'll hook you up with a 10% discount. As well as if you need some new swanky merchandise and you want to rep CEA on your body or any of your clothes, you can go over to what'snew.gg. Make sure to pick up any of our CEA apparel. And there's some hooded jerseys up in the works. They're coming out soon, so make sure to snag one of those. As well as if you need to snag any wonderful peripherals or gaming computer products, make sure to go over to corsair.com and just get anything you want because all of their products are so wonderful and well made. And with that, I've been CDAPS, joined by the wonderful Keglinek, and we would make sure that you guys have a great night.